Hey, what's up, guys? I changed my lighting. Hopefully you can see a little bit better. Last night I shot my top 10 twice. 2 times it didn't work, so here I am. I have to give a shout out to the Jimmy V Foundation. Jimmy Valvano was a coach for North Carolina State in the mid-80s. And they won the national championship in 1985, one of the biggest upsets in NCAA basketball tournament history. And anyway, he died of cancer in the late 90s. Ever since then, they have a Jimmy V Foundation basketball tournament and just games to raise money and awareness for cancer. And the website's jimmyv.org. So just go check it out. Okay, now down to business. Coming in at number 10 at 5-0 is the Arizona Wildcats. They were 5th in the country in field goal percentage. They blew out Texas Tech last week. Yeah, Texas Tech ain't good. Texas Tech ain't good. They don't really have anybody. So it's just going to be interesting to see how they play in the next week or two when they do play somebody and get tested. But I think they'll do. I think they have an awesome coach. I think they'll do to start playing pretty. Be back to elite status, like top 10. For all of you Big Ten people like myself, you're not going to like who I have number 9. They're 5-1. They lost to Duke, and that's Ohio State. I know all of you Ohio people ain't going to be too happy, but I felt like I had them overrated anyway, and I just don't think they'll. I mean, I think they're good, but I don't know. I just don't think they're like a top 5 team or nothing. So I have them at 9, and you know, I could have them underrated. I don't know. But coming at number 8 at 6-1 is Kansas. They lost to Michigan State at home, 69-64. They also only won by 6 against Oregon State. There was a couple games they didn't win by double digits or anything, and they should have. With some of the teams they played, like Oregon State ain't that good, and they only won by 6. I think Bill Self is having some. He's still trying to figure out like an identity for this team. He is tinkering with the lineup, like the normal rotation he has, and I think they'll get better. I think they'll probably be a top 5 team soon. I had them at number 3 in my preseason poll, so I don't know, but they lost to a Michigan State team that ain't that good. Okay, at 5-0, number 7, Syracuse, ESPN, and a lot of media outlets have them higher than this, like the AP poll. I think they have them at 4 or something like that. I've always picked them. There's been a couple times I picked them to go to the national championship game and win, and they just let me down the last couple of years. They've been really good the last couple of years, but they get into the NCAA tournament, and I've never watched a game that drove me crazy as much as the game I seen with Syracuse in the tournaments the last 2 years. That they had absolutely no drive, and they do look long and athletic. They average 80.2 points per game, 22nd in the country. So, but they're long and athletic from what I've seen, and I want to see them play, but that won't get you anywhere unless you have a drive. And Syracuse the last 2 years in the tournament has lacked enthusiasm. So coming in at number 6 at 8-0 is Gonzaga, who is coached by one of the best coaches in the country, Mark Few, who I have the utmost respect for, who I absolutely love, who was on my short list for coaches that I would want IU to get when they fired Sampson. He's an awesome coach, and I did see them play West Virginia only on the year, and they won 84-50. It just absolutely made West Virginia look sick. I mean, Gonzaga's going to be a team to watch out for. I think they'll be, honestly, I wanted to put them at number 5, but I just couldn't. They're 5th in the nation in scoring, 85.3 points per game as of right now. And they do play Illinois on Saturday, and it will be interesting to see how they play against Illinois. Illinois in some polls, like the AP poll, I think has them like Illinois at 12. I mean, so I don't think Illinois is that good, but we'll see. But it will be an interesting matchup this Saturday. Zags hosts Illinois. And then at number 5, I wanted to put them at number 4, but I just couldn't. And that's the Louisville Cardinals, 6-1. They did lose to Duke at Duke. They were number 2 in the AP poll. I had them number 2 in my preseason poll. I wish I could put them at least 4. I mean, this team, any Pitino team, is good. I think Rick Pitino is one of the best coaches of all time. I'll tell you right now, I was a young kid when Indiana won the '76 national championship game. So I couldn't really remember that team. So I'm going to tell you right now, the Pitino teams in Kentucky in the mid-'90s, like the '96 team that won the national championship, I'll tell you right now, in my memory, that is the best, most dominating team I've ever seen in college basketball. And that's what I'm saying. Pitino, I love Pitino ball. He loves aggressive defense. He loves the press and trap, and that is like the main, when it comes to my strategy, that is my main part of my strategy too. I love it, absolutely love it. The only thing I don't like is he has Louisville shoot a lot of 3-pointers, but I love Rick Pitino. And they only beat Illinois State by 3 points this past week, and man, that's crazy. Coming in at number 4, 7-0. Michigan Wolverines. I wanted to put them at 5 and put Louisville at 4, but I have just felt from the beginning I have Michigan overrated, and I think everybody has Michigan overrated. But then I just think of all the talent they have, and they're 4th in the country in field goal percentage. But they've had a few games where they only won in single digits. Well, they should have blown these teams out like Bradford. I think they only won by like 6 or something against Bradford. I can't wait to see Michigan tested. I think they have the talent, no doubt about it, but let's see what happens when they get tested. And number 3, at 6-0, I have Florida, who plays Arizona this Saturday, I believe, and that should be a good game. But again, you have like a Pitino disciple and Bill O'Donovan, somebody who I love too. Bill O'Donovan's an awesome coach, and Florida's been down a couple years, but I think it's about time for them to get back up, and they're proving it. They're looking really good. They blew out Marquette 82-49. Just look out. I just about put them at number 2, and I didn't. But you know, again, you have strong guard play, just like the Pitino teams, like Louisville. You know, they have strong guards that plays into the Pitino system, and Bill O'Donovan does the same thing. And so look out. Florida's good. And number 2, I didn't want to put this team number 2. I battled, just battled with myself all week, not wanting to put them at number 2. I did. I put them at number 2 because you just can't deny that they should be number 2. And I'll tell you why. They beat Louisville, who was number 2 at the time. They beat Ohio State, who was number 4 at the time. And but both games were at home. But that's 2 teams out of the top 4 they beat. That's pretty significant. And then you have Coach K, who I believe is the best coach in the country. Love Coach K. And you know Duke's going to be tough. They'll probably only get battles, so you have to put them at, I have to put them at number 2. They beat Louisville by 5 points. They beat Ohio State by 5. So between the 2 teams, that's 10 points total. And both games were at home, so I don't know. I mean, they're good. And then, of course, my Indiana Hoosiers, number 1, 8-0. Absolutely cannot deny that they're the best team in the country right now. A lot of people have said that Duke's closing the gap, and I just don't understand how you can say that. Indiana just absolutely blew out North Carolina, even though it's at home. Indiana has the most depth in the country. They have weapons. They have all the weapons you need. Their bench could probably beat Duke right now, I think. I think Indiana could beat Duke at Duke. I think Indiana is clearly the best team in the country. And all the major categories on the top 25. I mean, they're number 1 in the nation in scoring, 87.8 points per game. Field goal percentage, they're 7th at 51.1%. And like I said, rebounds are 23rd. They average 17 assists per game, which is 23rd in the country. You absolutely cannot take anything away from this Indiana team. They deserve a number 1 ranking. I don't think you can remove them from being number 1 in the country until they lose. You just can't do it. And I'll throw in a couple honorable mentions real quick. One is Georgetown. They're knocking on my top 10. So Georgetown is getting honorable mention in my top 10. And Minnesota, Tubby Smith, the last 3 or 4 years, I have felt like he's had a team put together that could make a push to contend for the Big Ten title. Since the Big Ten is so stacked this year, I don't think they'll contend for the Big Ten championship. However, they could break the top 10, but that's it. There you have it, my top 10. Please subscribe and like. Thanks for your support. Thanks for watching. Go IU. Peace.
Who's your daddy? Yeah, your school's coming up short. What? Bilbo Baggins, I know you wish you had it, but you ain't though. Nope. We just crossed your